All right, YouTubers, we are live here on Deluxe Man's channel. This is your boy Deluxe Man, and I'm joined here by
the casual viewer.
And we are here to review the first stop to WrestleMania 32, the Royal Rumble 2016. The one thing I asked for in my preview when I did the preview on Tuesday, if I don't get anything else, I might not get the results I want, but as long as I get a good show, a good Royal Rumble, which is something we haven't gotten in years, I will be satisfied. And, based off of the matches we got tonight, based off of the winner we had in the Royal Rumble match, I can't complain. I honestly think we got ourselves a pretty solid show tonight. I thought it was a good show.
Which is rare.
It was rare. It was a solid show. Was it fantastic? Was it like one of the greatest shows in the whole world? No. It was just a straight up solid show from beginning to end. There was nothing about this show that really pissed me off. So I personally am extremely proud of this year's Royal Rumble. It gave me the kind of show I was asking for, and I left going, cool. Let's see what happens tomorrow night on Raw. But casual viewer, your overall thoughts on the Royal Rumble?
Well, it's a whole lot better than... It was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be surprisingly good.
Especially when you consider the quality of episodes like Raw and all those preliminary shows building into the Royal Rumble. Everything else when it comes to the build-up was kind of... mid-card had a decent build-up. The Royal Rumble match, not so much. I kind of feel like they built the show around two guys, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. But the match itself turned out to be something so much better, But you thought it was a good show overall then, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. Tonight's crowd was good. Orlando, Florida. I think that's where they were. Thank you guys. Those of you who went, you made the show feel a lot more special than it, it really felt. I do feel like the crowd helped. The crowd was very ruckus. And I love the fact that the crowd, like anytime you had Roman Reigns, you heard his name, or he appeared on the screen in a promo package, they booed him. They were ready to rip him to shreds tonight. Keep in mind, no Daniel Bryan tonight. He was nowhere to be found. They didn't mention him or nothing. Crowd still turned on him because he's just not connecting. He's not. Roman Reigns is just lacking that ability to connect with the audience. He is. I'm not trying to knock the performer as it is, but as he is right now, everything about him just doesn't really work. You know what I'm trying to say here? I mean, you've talked about Roman Reigns since his inception here, since he came to WWE. I mean,
like I said, I never thought he could be able to hold his own as his own character, and none of the other people give a shit about him either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't understand why we should care, and I'm not given a reason to care.
We're really not. And so I'm just trying to figure out, clearly after what happened to him, we know where he's going with next. We'll get into that when we get to the match. But they got to do something. And hopefully this feud they're going to do with him changes that. But I'm not going to lie. I was more invested into the final two. Those two having a feud more than what we're going to get. So let's stop being vague about it. Give us your thoughts about the Royal Rumble down below. And let's discuss right now the Royal Rumble 2016. As of right now, as I look at my Twitter poll here, there's 200 votes, 80% thumbs up. Majority of the people like the show, which is a good thing. It's always a good thing to have the majority of the crowd like the show. On the pre-show, they did a tag match. It's a fatal four-way tag match to determine who is going to earn 2 spots into the Royal Rumble. I didn't watch it. Just know that Jack Swagger and Mark Henry won. Which is interesting because didn't they build up Mark Henry's match, him being involved in this match as possibly his last entrant into the Royal Rumble match ever before he retires? So why did he have to earn it if...
No, my whole thing is
it didn't make any sense.
It was such a great send-off in one of his last things.
He didn't even last 30 seconds in the match, by the way, so... Shows you how important they felt about Mark Henry being in the match period. But yeah, it is what it is. Ready to get into the show?
Yes.
First match in the card was the WWE Intercontinental Championship last man standing match. Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. Now, I have to say, this was a really good match. They had the best match they possibly could. I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed every single second of it. Was it a match of the year candidate?
No, it wasn't.
I know a lot of people, because that's what it is. People were expecting this to be like the match to set the bar for the new year. It wasn't. And here's the crazy part. I felt like, personally, they did everything they could to make it that. Everything they possibly could. They candlesticks, chairs, tables, they did crazy spots. I felt like the match could have used blood. This is one of those matches where I'm just like, okay, is the real reason I'm not completely invested is because they don't have blood in the match? I was asking myself that. Something was missing from it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I can't really say this was a match of the year candidate. I can't. It was a really good match. A perfect match to kick off the night for Royal Rumble. I thought it was a great opener. Just feel like it wasn't a match of the year candidate as people thought it would be. I love the spots. I love seeing Dean Ambrose go crazy. He would get chopped and he'll just like, come on, hit me harder. I like that stuff. That Joker mentality,
Yeah, because he's totally crazy. Yeah. Totally psycho. Right?
He's as crazy as WWE would let him be, which is stupid. But I like seeing Kevin Owens break the kendo stick, and stab him with it. I like seeing the cannonball breaking the barricade. That was pretty cool. Just a lot of great spots. Just a lot of craziness. They beat the hell out of each other. They did the best they could. I have no issues with the match. I thought it was a really good match. It just wasn't a 5-star classic, as I'm pretty sure some people will say, but I don't think I'm not going to remember this match 6 months later. I might remember it tomorrow. I'm not going to remember it as the year goes by. How do you feel about the match?
I wasn't impressed at all.
Wow, you wasn't even impressed.
Breaking the barricade, I've seen that before. Breaking the candlestick in half and stabbing, I'm like, yeah, if you're actually stabbing him, but you're not. You're not. So I did not find that believable. And not to mention, I don't give a damn about Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So I didn't give a damn about this match. I'm not saying it was a bad match. It's just, it was a decent one.
So I don't know, man. It's just, I expected more out of them. I didn't quite get it. And again, maybe the old school fan of me is just not as impressed because maybe I really wanted blood, and because I didn't really get blood, I wasn't really buying it, because this match could have really used some blood. There was a spot where Kevin Owens had like a chair wrapped around his head, and in my mind, I'm thinking he should be busted open right there. But can't complain, can't get everything we want. Dean Ambrose wins. He retains the championship, which frees Kevin Owens up to do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So we'll see where that goes. Any other thoughts about that match?
That's it.
Next up is the Tag Team Championship match. It's the New Day and the Usos. Ooh. So yeah, there you go. The promo was a lot better than this match. The promo before it with the trombone, Francesca making her return.
It's a fucking joke.
It was what it is. The Usos and New Day had the best match they could. It wasn't a bad match. It was actually pretty solid. Bless you. I don't know. It's one of those things where I was like, okay, just get it over with. And the New Day retained, which was like, all right, kind of saw it coming. No shock right there. The antics of New Day, as much as I'm entertained by it, we were talking about it as the match was happening. And I kind of feel like when it first started, they were silly. They've always been silly. But there was an ounce of, what's the one I'm looking for? Seriousness in the stable when it first started. And I like that it got a little bit more silly over time. Now I kind of feel like we've gone so far away from, that is Twitter, I apologize, that's my cell phone. But we've gone so far away from, it being any kind of a serious group to take seriously. Now they're just a comedy act. A pretty entertaining comedy act, but at the end of the day,
I disagree.
But it's comedy
they are
act.
Not entertaining.
Well,
this is a damn joke. I mean, there's a big difference between being the comedy relief and being the court jester of the WWE.
which is what they are. They are. They're the court jester of the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not lying. But, you know, if you're going to be a jester, be a good fucking jester, which is.
Please.
And again, I'll admit, I'm a bit biased because it's the New Day, and I like the New Day. It might be because they're all black stable.
Why?
Because they're entertaining, though.
No, but what is it about them that is any good? The only redeeming quality I see is that they're an all African-American tag team.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that you look at the roster, you see how bland and faceless and unrecognizable everybody is, and then you got the New Day. You recognize them; they're recognizable. So because them standing out amongst the roster, maybe that's just why I like them. I'm just so thirsty for characters that anybody that's a character, whether it's a legit, like, awesome character or just a character in general.
So you're saying as long as they're fleshed out, you don't care?
Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I am entertained by them. But they kept the championships. I mean, any thoughts about this match that you want to talk about?
Nope.
So you got nothing to say about it?
Nope.
Okay. Afterwards, we got a promo with the Wyatt family, and they all had the
4 horsemen of the apocalypse thing.
Yeah, the metaphor stuff. And here's my thing. Why is it that the Wyatt family always gets this? They always look strong when it's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But after it's done, they go right back to just being...
How plot convenient that you're strong in the promos, but when you're actually in the match, you don't do shit.
Well, they were strong this week. They took out Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns on Raw. And they took out Roman Reigns again on SmackDown.
Oh, I'm so sorry that 4 against 2 actually beat somebody. What a shock that you guys are like totes strong.
I don't know. I'm just annoyed by it. Like, either book them strong and keep them consistently strong, or just make them jobbers. You know, you can't have it both ways. You can't job them out to everybody. You know, you can't book them strong just to job them out to an Undertaker or a Roman Reigns, or in this case, based off of what we've seen, possibly a Brock Lesnar now, because he got eliminated by the Wyatt family. You know, so we gotta see how that works. So yeah, Brock Lesnar didn't win the Royal Rumble, and those of you who are watching this probably already knew that. I won't. Those of you who haven't seen it yet, I won't spoil who won it, but I think if you're watching this, you already know. Next match was the United States Championship match. Kalisto. That's how you say his name. But Leon Garcia, Kalisto, which is Kalisto, versus Alberto Del Rio, the United States Champion. You said something about Del Rio and Lucha Underground. Please give me your thoughts. You know, give them your thoughts about Del Rio and Lucha Underground. Well, he was Alberto El Patron. And Lucha Underground. Now he's back in WWE.
Okay. So I got introduced to Lucha Underground a while back.
And he likes it.
And then I saw Del Rio on there, and I was like, oh, well, he looks familiar. And then I see him here, so I'm like, what happened? Is it because Lucha Underground is under the 2nd season? Did they not pick you up? And then apparently it was all about the money, I guess, since WWE
that dollar bill
gave him more money to come back.
Oh, you know they did.
But the whole reason he left is because of the disrespect to his character.
Yeah.
So it just felt like he was selling out. Now, I mean, do what you got to do, feed your family and all that, but I was just kind of scratching my head figuring out, like, well, why the hell are you here?
Seriously. But it is one of those things where it's like, you know, he has a family, and you risk your life doing this as a living. You know, he goes to Lucha Underground and has a good story, has a good character, gets a lot more respect, but he's only making like, what, 80,000, 70,000 a year. And then he looks at WWE, who I guarantee threw him 300,000, maybe even 500,000 a year. And he goes, there's no comparison. You know, I would rather go over here and be miserable, because that's what he said, because he's clearly not as happy as he was in Lucha Underground. But I'd rather go over here and be miserable and make 500,000 and get paid than be happy over here in Lucha Underground. I don't know. You know, those are the wrestlers. That's their decision. They had that right to make that decision. But me and him are just kind of like, man, is it really worth it?
Well, it's just, is that whole like.
You said something about selling out, though.
Well, it's just, what I mean is like, it goes like this. Everybody's clamoring for wrestling to be like Lucha Underground, and I totally wish it was. But then the problem I have is like you do it the right way, but don't get paid enough.
Right.
You do it the way that is okay, and you get more money. I mean, there's just that whole like I'm not sure like is there's just that whole integrity thing where it's like, well, let's see, you can do a half-ass job and get paid 3 times as much, or you could put your all into it and only get half the pay. And then it's like, well, who are you doing it for? Yourself or your fans? But then if you do it for your fans, then you're not getting paid enough to go through this bullshit.
Yeah.
But then if you do it for yourself, then you just come off as a selfish prick. Because then you're half-assing it, but getting all the monies.
Yeah.
So which is better?
World. It's a rough world, man. It really is.
I'm just saying, it's like, so you do a really good job, but then don't get any of the credit, or you do a half-ass job and get all the money.
Well, he decided to do the okay job and get all the money,
I guess.
Well, regardless, that guy Del Rio had a pretty good match against Kalisto. Now, this is the kind of match I've been wanting for them. This was a luchador-esque, pretty good match in WWE. Lots of cool spots. It was just entertaining from top to bottom, like I predicted, though, because people were mad, and I mean mad, when he won the championship 2 weeks ago on Raw, and then lost it to Del Rio the very next day on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was just like, oh, that's stupid. Why would you do that to Kalisto? And I said, guys, he's going to get the championship back. They only did that to prolong the feud. You know, now I don't know how you feel about that. Like, why give him the belt if he's just going to get it right back? Why give him the belt and then lose it if he's just going to get it right back? But that's just how WWE does things. At the end of the day, Kalisto got the belt back. I think he's going to be an awesome U.S. champion. I was a little scared, though, because there was a point in the match where he fell like head first. And I felt like he cracked his neck or something like that. It looked nasty. So he finished the match. So hopefully he's not injured or anything. You know, thoughts on the match?
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed it. The commentators pissed me off, but it's like, why are the people yelling lucha? That's so annoying. And I'm like, fuck you.
It was JBL saying, aren't those lucha chants very annoying? I'm just like, geez, shut the fuck up.
Fuck you. Like, seriously? God damn it.
Oh, man. But Kalisto's the new champion.
That I'm happy about.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we got the Divas Championship match.
Fuck that.
Charlotte versus Becky Lynch.
It's meaningless.
Yeah.
Meaningless. I mean, the only thing that's great about it is that these two girls are from the NXT, so they obviously know what they're doing, and at least the backstory to why they're fighting is actually engaging.
Yeah.
But again, it's the same stereotypical, oh, we were friends, and then I chose my own personal success over our friendship thing again. But now it's with the chicks.
Yeah, it's basic. We've seen it before 10,000 times.
So, yeah.
Here's my thing, though. I am going to, again, be like the New Day. At least they got a storyline. At least they're getting TV time. And they're doing the best they can with it. It actually worked. Because the crowd was booing Charlotte.
Dude, but that's the equivalent of saying, hey, I got a sandwich, even though the bread expired.
Yes, you're right. But god damn it. Think about this. Throughout the entire fucking night, all the heels were getting cheered. Mm-hmm. Over the Usos got booed.
Yeah.
Okay? And the New Days were cheered. The New Day was cheered. Kevin Owens was cheered tonight. Roman Reigns got booed out of the freaking building. The only heel, Triple H was even cheered. You know? Mm-hmm. The only legit heel tonight to get booed was Charlotte. And Becky Lynch was one of the only baby faces to get some actual baby face momentum. So let's give that match some credit, for doing that. But you're right, the match itself was pretty solid. It wasn't like the greatest match in the world. They've had better. They've had so much better on NXT, but I should come to expect that when it comes to the main roster. They're not going to have as good of a match as they would on NXT because they don't have the freedom. They don't have the build-up. They don't have the time.
See, that I argue with it just a tad.
Okay.
Because I could understand that if like NXT was internet only and the pay-per-view stuff was on television, but it's all online now.
But they're still under the WWE umbrella.
Yeah, but the whole company is online now. They're not even showing it on TV anymore.
I mean, well, you're right, and I get what you're going with that, but You watch NXT London.
I get that, but my point still stands. You guys have changed the way you broadcast your station.
Mm-hmm.
So
you still think because of the way they broadcast it, they should have the freedom.
Well, I'm saying that it's not like they're hindered by a network that says that we can't have insert whatever here on our show.
Yeah.
And even if you're going to go with the whole, NXT is going to be a little bit PG-13 and this stuff is going to be PG and that's going to be R, fine. Totally get it.
Right.
Totes get it.
Right.
But if you're going to do that, then why mix and match? It's the equivalent of having a crossover where it's like having a crossover. Oh wait, they did that and it sucked. But
right.
You know, it's like Aliens and Predators and putting it as a PG-13 film. But when both are rated R,
like I said, the match itself was what it was. Now, I told Joel here that the reason why Charlotte actually comes across a bit more fleshed out than other heels is that she was actually a legit women's champion. Like she's actually winning matches clean. Yeah. Now, does she play dirty? Yeah, she's fought dirty, but she hasn't cheated. Up to this point, since she's been in the main roster, she hasn't cheated at all to actually win her match. Now, she just started cheating. She did cheat in it tonight to beat Becky Lynch, but you called that. You're like, well, the only way she's going to have to win this match is if she cheats. Mm-hmm. And she did. Yep. She cheated. She got help from Ric Flair, who interfered, and that's how she beat Becky.
Surprise, surprise.
And then after the match, Charlotte goes on to beat up Becky Lynch, and who the hell comes out?
I don't know this chick.
Oh, Sasha Banks? You don't know her. That's right. She's also from NXT. Okay, so check this out. Sasha Banks is the cousin of Snoop Dogg. And she has so much going for her right now. She has the match of the year with Bayley last year. She's one of the best female wrestlers in the world right now. Mm-hmm. And now she's going to come in. She came in and she attacked Becky Lynch. And we thought, she's going to team up with Charlotte. And then she turns around and attacks Charlotte and she turns into a good guy. So Sasha Banks became a babyface tonight. And it looks like we're going to do Sasha Banks versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. Or Sasha Banks versus Charlotte at Fastlane. And then do another match with either those two again, the rematch, or a fatal 4-way or a triple threat with them at WrestleMania. Guarantee you, putting money on it, Snoop Dogg is going to be in Sasha Banks' corner at WrestleMania if we do this match. But sorry, what were you going to say? Your thoughts about Sasha Banks, what you saw?
Oh, I have no thoughts. I'm just like, yay, you're related to someone who has talent. That's fantastic.
Well, she has talent too.
Oh, I don't deny it. She's probably like one of the greatest female wrestlers on the Divas card, and she could wipe the floor with the best of them. I don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit? Who gives a shit?
Well, because I've never seen her before until right now, and I just have to go from hearsay on that she's actually good. And quite frankly, I don't care if she's good because it's the Divas champion. It's pretty much you against 4 other people or something.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean,
are you still waiting for him to get rid of that belt, by the way?
I don't even look, I don't even care that they have the belt. Right. What I care about is if there's going to be a Divas division, then they should have the same kind of division that the male belts do. There should be a tag team Divas. There should be a international Divas.
Yeah, good luck
there
with
should
that.
Be a USA Divas belt, and there should be a
WWE
Divas belt.
No.
But of course not. And then if you're not gonna do that, then just have them fight everybody else. And granted, it does kind of seem a bit fucked up that a 180-pound woman is fighting like a guy that's 300. Or in some case 600, but
Well, we shouldn't. I honestly think what they're doing with them right now is pretty cool. I mean, you watched them on NXT, and they were fine. With Asuka and Emma.
No, I don't deny it, but there's still the same problem. I mean, NXT is phenomenally better.
Yeah,
let's not argue with that.
Yeah,
but it's just there's still the same tropes that.
But at least with them, they're actually using those tropes in the right way because the women mainly been at the show at one point. Yeah. So I get what you're trying to say, and you're right. Mm-hmm. NXT does them better. And I'm sorry, you're not going to get what you're hoping for on the main roster soon. Hopefully we will one day. But I'm telling you, man, it's going to take a while. Yeah, you won't be seeing the women closing a pay-per-view for
ever.
I won't say ever, but it's gonna be a while. All right, I think that's about it. Ready for the last match?
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble, 2016. So Roman Reigns came out as number 1.
Obviously.
Yeah, and then number 2 was Rusev, and me and him were just like, but then number 3 was the debut of the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, and everyone lost their minds. It was awesome. It makes so much sense when I think about it because Orlando, Florida is used to be the home of TNA. TNA is the other wrestling promotion. That's where he was made famous, was in TNA. Okay. So it was smart of WWE to debut him in the home of TNA. Fuck you, TNA. That's what you get for getting rid of him. TNA got rid of him, by the way, because well, they didn't get rid of him. This is what happened. They didn't want to pay him a lot of money. They cut his check. Mm-hmm. He was gonna get less pay so they can pay Sting and Hogan, who was still with the company. He was all like, fuck you. Oh. And he left them. So, and he hasn't been with the company since 2014. He's been wrestling with ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I told him this too. He's one of the only wrestlers to go to every single major promotion, wrestling promotion, and win their world championship. Mm-hmm. So him coming to WWE was a long time coming. He got a massive reaction. Your thoughts on AJ Styles, when you first saw him?
I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. I mean, with the crowd liking him that much and all the stuff you told me, I was expecting to see something great, but they kind of squandered this guy because he was barely able to do anything. I mean, he was in there, and he was in there for a while, but then it's like, well, I mean, you couldn't have been in the Final 5. I mean, I would have loved that.
I would have liked it too, but I kind of knew they weren't going to go all the way with him. That's someone I was thinking, you know what? It would be really cool if they had him win it. Like, as the match, you know what? Based off how the match ended, though, think about this. Replace Dean Ambrose with AJ Styles. That would have really been a good way to put him over.
Yeah, but my whole thing...
Jesus Christ.
That would have been great, but the whole Dean Ambrose thing was still a shocker, honestly.
The way the match ended was awesome.
And I really wanted Dean Ambrose to win.
Oh, my God.
Because then that would have actually... That would have elevated his character.
That would have been great. First off, dual champion, IC and world champion. When was the last time that happened? It would have been really good. And, you could have done something with that as character. You could have actually built into him going crazy. Like, okay, I'm a dual champion. I got to do whatever I can to keep these belts. You know what I'm saying? And then it could get to his head and he can just go crazy over it. Sorry, fancy booking, but that's not going to happen clearly because he didn't win the match. But, you had AJ Styles come in. You had, who were the other surprise entrants?
Well, whoever that guy is that fought.
Who was the other one?
Michael Owens is his rival or some shit.
Oh yeah, Sami Zayn. Yeah, Sami Zayn came in and he eliminated Kevin Owens. So there you go. That's Kevin Owens' next feud. A lot of people are predicting that they're going to carry this feud over into NXT. I don't care if it's NXT. I don't care if it's on the main roster. If we're doing this feud, it's going to be great. I cannot wait. Until they actually go really start this Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn feud, wherever it is. I personally say, you know what? Do it on both of them. NXT and WWE main roster. But it'll probably be on the main roster. Why not? WrestleMania. That's the best place to do it. They're going to kill it. They're going to kill it at WrestleMania, man. But yeah, that was cool. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family had a dominant streak there. You had Brock Lesnar go in, tear house up. And then... first shocker of the night, Brock Lesnar gets eliminated by the Wyatt family. After they were eliminated by Brock Lesnar, it's weird. Brock Lesnar comes in. The Wyatt family is already in the ring. He gets rid of Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman, the big guy. And Bray Wyatt comes out, and the Wyatt family just waltz right in, even though they were eliminated, and then toss Brock Lesnar.
And this is exactly the problem I have with this.
Yeah.
I mean...
if you can just get back in the ring.
I mean, if you can just get back in and fuck everybody else's day up, then what's stopping Brock Lesnar from coming in and screwing up the Wyatt family?
That's what I thought was going to happen. I'm thinking, well, Brock Lesnar's probably just going to go in there and just wipe everybody out.
And then you guys wasted Brock Lesnar here. you guys only have them like maybe four
Didn't
times
they?
a year, and you wasted it on this.
Yeah, well, clearly they're setting up a feud between him and Bray Wyatt, which I
don't see the point.
like. If Bray Wyatt had won, okay, then we have something to go off of. Right now, it's just.
Well, no, I mean the best I got is that Bray Wyatt screwed him over, but he already screwed him over, so now he's just screwed him over again. Yay, feud.
Well, I'm at least happy. This is again taking breadcrumbs. At least we're making feuds from the Royal Rumble. We are.
Yeah, but you know how you make better feuds for like WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
You establish it from like months ago and you build it up.
Like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, like what they did with those two.
Just saying.
Gotcha.
If you actually, I mean, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Prime example.
He wasn't in the match, by the way.
I know, but
and that was, that was for the best. I personally think at this point in time, if you were not going to put him in the Royal Rumble, fine. But if you are, like, if they would have put him in the Royal Rumble, I would say he had to have won. Otherwise, the fans are going to be pissed off, and it's a repeat of last year. They're going to crap on the entire match. Mm-hmm. So they took him out. They didn't put him in there on purpose because they knew that, you know what, we don't want that happening, and I'm fine with that. It's personally, I think it actually helped the match that he wasn't in it. But your point, though, like you was going to say.
I'm just saying.
They built him up to win the match. And so.
Yeah, I mean, they built up his whole struggle, how he started out, and like. But then this thing, I'm just supposed to accept that in something that happened in Raw and then something that happened here that I'm supposed to be in on this feud and give a shit.
Give a damn.
And I don't, because simply it's like, Bray Wyatt is just made to be the villain of anybody who doesn't already have a villain. So he's literally a disposable bad guy.
Yeah, he's a enhancement talent.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
That's the term.
He's a big, fat enhancement talent who's just used to put people over, to make people look good.
Well, that's boring.
Yeah.
Especially since his whole...
He should be like this generation's Undertaker. He really should.
He really should.
He really should. But he's not going to.
He's supposed to be the boogeyman of the WWE.
Yeah, death incarnate. You know what I'm saying? The demon, the devil incarnate. That's the best way to describe it. But he's not. He's just one big fat enhancement talent. Chris Jericho wasn't much in this match.
Is he ever?
Not anymore. New Day.
Yeah. Oh no, Kofi Kingston. I totally thought he was gonna win.
He had his big moment, oh my God, I escaped elimination. I'm going to land on Big E's shoulders and drink Pepsi and then get into the ring when nobody's expecting it. And he just got tossed out and nobody cares. All right. So let's get to the guy that won. So Roman Reigns gets beat up by the League of Nations,
Mm-hmm.
And we're both saying, okay, he's going to get beat up, and then he's just going to return at the end of the match. And I'm saying that's the stupidest thing you can do. Like, why would you do that? Why are we trying to give this guy sympathy? Why are we trying to book him like they did with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania? Mm-hmm. He got beat up and then they took him out the match, but it made sense because Daniel Bryan had a match before then. So it makes sense for him to be taking out the match for a little bit. It makes sense because he's wrestling twice. And he got beat up in the first match. Here, Roman Reigns didn't even wrestle all that much. And then the League of Nations come out, they pull him through a table, and he's got rolled out and then come back to number 29? Sheamus,
yeah,
and he punches out Sheamus, and he's just steamrolling people, and we're thinking he's gonna win this, isn't he? And then who comes out at number 30?
Triple H.
The Game, Triple H, coming for Roman Reigns, and he, it was pretty cool seeing him and that's kind of funny. Let me just talk about this. This is how Roman Reigns isn't working. Triple H is supposed to be the bad guy. Triple H is supposed to be the guy that fans are booing against. Mm-hmm. The fans popped for Triple H and they booed Roman Reigns. That lets you know that this booking of Roman Reigns just isn't working. So hopefully what they do with him and Triple H going forward is going to do the opposite. It's going to make fans cheer Roman Reigns and Triple H. They got to do something different, though. It's got to be something different. But he goes in there and, they have a stare-off. And to our big surprise, Roman Reigns ends up being eliminated by Triple H after he gets rid of, was it Bray Wyatt or Chris Jericho? I don't know.
No, because it Roman Reigns took out Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
And then Chris Jericho was taken out by Triple H.
Yeah.
Then Triple H took out
Roman Reigns. And everybody was like, oh my God, he got eliminated. And the crowd lost their shit, right?
No, I lost my shit simply because it's Triple H and Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh,
if he wins,
this could be the greatest. And then he lost. But I was like, shit.
Even I was just like, man, for a second there, I was like, man, if Ambrose won this, that would be so freaking awesome. You would have. We did live reactions to this, by the way. It's coming up after this video. But we were like, yeah, like, yeah. Of course, Triple H won, which is where I predicted. I said Triple H was going to win, and guess what? He won. Triple H is a 14-time WWE World Champion. 14 times. Mm-hmm. That's crazy, But you know what, man?
What does that mean?
That means he's one of the best champions, I suppose. Like, to win it 14 times. It also means you lost it 13 times. So, like is that really an accolade?
I don't know, because, winning it that many times does mean something, since it's not like you fought the same people each time.
Yeah, but that's what it means.
You fought different generations of people.
Different champions, different kinds of people that win that belt.
But it's just the problem I have is that it's almost meaningless when any asshole could just challenge you whenever they feel like it.
Nowadays. Yeah, it used to be that you couldn't get to the champion unless you won this match or won a big time match to earn a championship shot. Mm-hmm. But nowadays it's like, I want a championship shot. Okay.
Who was that asshole that got on the ladder thinking it was a
R-Truth?
Yeah.
It was a Money in the Bank match. Now he's a bigger joke than New Day. It's always the black guys that have jokes.
Credit to your race.
It's always the black guys that have the jokes, huh? We're the jesters, huh? Anyways, but Triple H wins the belt. You have Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon out there celebrating, fireworks everywhere. Honestly, man, the more I think about it, this was the best choice they can go with. I don't know if that's a good idea. That explains if things are good for WWE. Cena's hurt, Orton's hurt, Cesaro's hurt. So many people are out hurt. Seth Rollins is hurt. They don't have a lot of big names. Rock isn't going to be at WrestleMania. Austin isn't going to be there. Taker is going to be there, but he's not going to be in the main event. Sting is hurt. It's like, you don't have a lot of big names. Triple H is the only one we have. And he's going to be the guy to possibly fight Roman Reigns.
Here's an idea. Maybe this is your opportunity to get some new faces in there and actually build them up.
Like AJ Styles? But we'll see what happens, man. This is an interesting time. But you know what? I got what I wanted. WWE gave me exactly what I wanted. They gave me a good show. Gonna give it a B. This was a B show. Wasn't anything like one of the greatest shows of all time, but it was a good, solid show from WWE. Let's keep this going. Okay, so let's end it with this big question. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. So, as you know, WWE's goal is to sell out WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, AT&T Stadium, 105,000 seats. You think they're on the right track right now?
When have they ever been on?
Oh, wow. Because the main event's looking to ship it to be Roman Reigns versus Triple H. So
who cares?
Oh, wow. That's not good enough for you.
I don't give a shit. So, okay, here's my thing. And here's why I don't care. If Roman Reigns wins,
yeah,
what does that mean?
Why should I care?
What does that change?
You're asking us why should we care?
Well, what I'm really asking is that it's one of those things where most likely Triple H is going to win. And if he doesn't and Roman Reigns does, what does that mean? It just seems like you guys are giving him the belt, assuming that people are going to like him instead of people having to like him so that they want him to get the belt. It's like you guys are going about it backwards. And then it's like most likely they're just going to make Triple H win because everybody knows who Triple H is.
Oh yeah,
regardless of if he's the bad guy or not.
Well, you're right. It seems kind of cheap. It's like, yeah, let's go to the guy that we already established and not someone new. So, in your opinion, you feel like they should have chose someone new and not the same people that we always get.
I'm just saying that maybe if you actually develop somebody's character first, so that they can actually be recognizable to the fans. And then make it so that there is a legitimate reason for why he's fighting, why we should be cheering for him, and why it's so important for him to win, besides just 'cause maybe I give a shit.
So,
but I feel like I'm just repeating myself every time we do these reviews.
you are.
Okay.
Trust me, I do it too.
All right.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, WWE, you've been going in the wrong direction for so long. Now it feels like you're turning a little bit of a corner. You're now going in the right direction. Let's keep this going. You still got a long way to go, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, hey, I'm not gonna be tuning in to see what you're doing, because what you've given me so far with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar, Triple H and Roman Reigns, and what they're doing with Charlotte and Sasha Banks, that has me somewhat interested. You know, am I gonna fork over $100 to go see it live? Not yet, but we'll see where this goes. Final grade. So what are you giving this show?
B.
B?
B.
Awesome. There you go, guys. Give us your thoughts about the Royal Rumble down below. If you haven't subscribed to me, please subscribe. Here's my Twitter handle. Follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, subscribe and like me here on YouTube, and donate to my Patreon if you'd like to contribute to the channel growth. Any final thoughts? Will we be seeing you for Fastlane in February?
We'll see.
And then WrestleMania 32 comes afterwards. Now, let me ask you this. Before then, coming up in March, I believe, is the next NXT show. They enjoyed your NXT review. Will you be coming back for that?
We'll see.
Okay.
I didn't realize people enjoyed it that much.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Thank you for joining us. We will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow night for my Raw review, but he will see you at the very next pay-per-view. This is your boy, Deluxe Man, signing off with the casual viewer. Peace out.
I don't think it stopped. Did it stop?
That's just
Stopping.